Alright everybody, here we go. So I muted all the audio on this. If you guys want a version that has audio, I live streamed it. Just to clean up the music and all the chaos in the background, just so you could watch these matches. So we have a 5v5 submission only in the gi between two schools that I run classes at. One class a week at Trigon and two classes a week at Team Zen. So we have a mix of guys that are some of my personal. Every week I see them. Some of them go to both schools so that they can do all of my classes that I'm around for. So this is Dan going out first and Anthony, they're up at bat. So the way a quintet works, guys, with this thing, it's submission only. So there's no points. And if you don't submit, you're both knocked out. You have to finish your guy, and as soon as you do, the next guy comes running out, and you fight him immediately. So I'll get on the camera in a bit. I kind of walk around double fisting the cameras. There's also a live stream if you guys need to hear the audio, hear what everybody's yelling and all the noise in the room. There's music playing. It's very hectic, so I just wanted to clean that up for this version of it, so that you guys could just watch some of this grappling. There's a fine art of moving around with the cameras and trying to coach your own guys against your own guys. It's hard to root for any one team when you literally are part of each of these guys' developments on both sides. Now, Anthony, I never have done a gi class with him. I believe he trains a little bit of gi on the outside, but my class is a no gi class, so I don't know what his skills look like in the gi. And to be honest, we did fine, just fine. Dan, I also just run no gi classes, guys. So all my guys competing in gi, it's not like I've spent any time with them on that. They do have other coaches that are also running classes in the gi, so it's not like we're not doing it. We do have it, but I personally do not get to evaluate enough of these guys in the gi to give you a image, kind of a perspective of what I think how their performance is compared to how they are in the room. Now, what I'd say about Anthony here is that in the actual training room, he's a monster. He's one of in no-gi specifically. I've only seen him compete in no-gi once, so we keep doing these competitions on the weekends. These guys are just jockeying right now, trying to put each other on the floor. They spend a pretty good amount of time glued on each other. Now, Dan is a pretty fast, pretty strong, big guy, but a solid white belt. He moves well, and he took this on short notice, and he's been just jumping in and doing these tournaments, these in-house tournaments, because he's a cowboy. He's really just a badass, and everybody who jumps in, all these guys are just not preparing for this at all. They're just getting a phone call and jumping in. So it's kind of cool just to see these guys nonchalantly walk into a tournament like this. It's pretty unsanctioned, but they take it very seriously. The pressure and the energy in the room is high pressure and high energy. Everybody's watching you. A lot of people are yelling, instructions and just yelling at you, and there's music on, and it's sub only, so there's a lot of pressure to finish, and we're trying to finish. Now, we got a good look at the back here. Wrapped his arm around his neck. That's it. Back exposure with the rear naked. Not even locked up too much, just palm to palm. Now we got Joe going out there versus Dan. Since Dan just tapped Dorico, he's immediately going into the next match. Joe gets a guard pull, gets right to it. I thought that he was gonna wrap something up with that straight ankle lock kind of thing, but then he got up with it and decided to become top player, so that's still good. We don't even simulate this submission only thing that much, so it's interesting of a experiment to just throw them in this rule set and see what happens. The idea with this, guys, if you're watching this and you don't know the context, so Team Trigon, they're going to go fight in a quintet at LIJJN. It's a jiu-jitsu kind of like sanctioned event or whatever, you know, televised, streamed by a real like company, not ghetto like me with this camera. This is like an underground event, guys. What we're doing here is just a scrimmage, kind of like just a practice for competing, because you do want to simulate the environment the best you can, and this gets that energy going. And you can see it in the guys. So this quintet, you're going to see them fight twice. I'll probably go dark and stop commenting at points and just skip forward and let you guys just kind of have some peace and quiet. But I did want to do a voiceover sort of podcast style here. Feel free to just mute if you need to mute me and you don't want to hear me talking. Go ahead and mute, you know. Or if you want to watch the live stream where you could hear all the chaos, again, it's right on the same channel. Go to the live stream. So Joe gets on the back here. We get like a bow and arrow choke kind of attack. He went from triangle to armbar to some kind of scramble, got behind the elbow and hit the tap. Now he's got to be ready right away to fight this other guy who... so this guy came from a gym. We don't know him. Nobody's rolled with him. And I think Joe got caught off guard big time here. I don't think he was ready. He was like standing up straight, you know. And this guy came in to just fill a spot on Team Zen, just to help out, to have a 5v5 to simulate it for our Trigon guys. We do have a super fight at the end. JP, guy over there in the corner, just decided that he would do a walk-on super fight after like we were done. And then one of the competitors on Team Zen just said, all right, I'll do it, after he already fought twice. So, you know, props to those guys for having steel cojones. Right here, we just get pinned, guard passed immediately, taken down, guard passed immediately, and pinned. And just, I believe this goes on for quite some time. Just this pin. I think there's some gi choke kind of grips going on and stuff. Later on, this guy on top, I think his name is Dean, he actually tapped somebody with a neon belly. The guy was stuck and it hurt his ribs, so he tapped. It was pretty interesting. I haven't seen that in a long time in person. Yeah, this guy's got some weight on Joe and a lot of athletic, like a lot of size, a lot of muscle built up. His back was like huge. So, you know, you never know who you're going to compete against in this kind of a thing. They weigh the whole team and they have to like cap you out at a certain weight. I wonder if our team is like approaching that weight or if we're just like really light, because I think like 3 of our guys are like really light and then 2 of them are like 200 pounds. What's interesting is that Joe is at Zen probably more than he's at Trigon, and he's fighting against Team Zen when he could very well be on Team Zen. We got a lot of guys in here just kind of from both schools just watching. If you listen to the live stream, you'll hear all the yelling. There's a lot of like loud noises and coaching, and Joe's just been pinned down there for a while. Then this guy pops up to get some movement, I guess, to get Joe moving. I kind of made some space here, but the guy re-angled Joe's hips. Joe's getting his frames in. So this is an hour-long event. Here, I think we did like an hour and 30 minutes total. We were all there for a while just chatting after though. So look, we get crossface, heads controlled by the gi. Joe's trying to get his knees in, his feet in. He's flattened out though, and this guy's avoiding. He's keeping good chest down pressure, keeping his opponent pinned as we do. and he finds a paper cutter choke as he was walking around. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's called a paper cutter choke, and he gets the tap. It's a solid gi attack that I actually think is pretty good, because if you fail it, you could use it to like hit an armbar, or you could use it to actually sit the guy up and get right on his back. So now we have Nick versus Dean. Nick straight at it. He goes right in. I know Nick is good, but I haven't seen Nick at any of my classes personally. His schedule conflicts with the Trigon class that I run, so I actually don't really personally know his abilities, potential, his skill set. I don't know what he likes to do. I don't. Looks like we got a triangle attack for a second there, and then a little bulldoze action. Put him back. That was pretty interesting. He just turned him like a wheel and put him on his back, and now he's just cooking him. I think Nick does a good job getting the elbows out from in front of him, but he's got to keep this guy's hands off him. That hand that's framing his throat, he's got to deal with that, and he's got to keep working those hands separated and keep him in an outside position. So he does have the hands separated now. The hands are on both sides of the body, but I don't think we get anywhere this entire match, but he does fulfill that condition of keeping the bottom guy's hands separated and isolated. So the hands are isolated on both sides of his torso. At some point, Nick even pins it with his shin, the near side arm, and he just keeps working it. I was telling him to pin the wrist, keep pinning the wrist, and keep that elbow separated. So he was like playing around with that. We worked on a gi trap there too. Like I had them play games with this gi trap, and nobody went for it. But it is there. I mean, it's a very overpowered grip where you take their lapel and you block their forearm with it and hold them down like we were holding each other down. It's been interesting to prepare these guys for this because I never really got to do constrained learning approach with the gi on, even though it's all similar. It's actually, there's a lot of different affordances you can play around with, and there's a lot of different implications of every single usage of the gi jacket. Guys have been showing up to my no-gi class in the gi because I think that should be normalized. Basically, the going rule for our room is if you're wearing the gi, people are able to grab it and you can use it as a weapon, but they could also use it on you as a weapon. So you might roll with the guy who's not wearing a gi and you are wearing a gi, and if you're wearing it, they can grab it. So it just makes it more variable. I like a lot of variability. I like a lot of chaos. It's good to have in the room. Everybody's getting organized around that and getting used to it so that there's no more surprises. You know, so these guys can compete in gi and no gi and still be like at least proficient, winning positionally. Submission only is just a different thing totally. I wouldn't say it's better or worse, but it doesn't punish, losing grappling. Like if you're in mount bottom like this, it doesn't punish you at all. It doesn't, because it's submission only. You either both lose or one of you taps, and it's like, well, I'm really tired, so I'm just gonna not get tapped, and you get to take the guy down with you, as opposed to like if it was IBJJF or if it was a points system, the behaviors change, and you'll get victories to reward you for good grappling, or at least dominant positions and advantages and stuff, for attacking. And you just have a lot of different behaviors because the rule set dictates the behavior. So submission only is something that most of these guys never do, and they never, it's an interesting rule set to play with. Because it doesn't mean anything if you mount somebody, take their back. It doesn't really mean anything unless you finish them. That I thought that was going to be good, but the guy did a good job destabilizing top player and making him have to base with his hands. So that's what just happened. That's why he survived that. He had an Americana kind of situation. I thought an armbar was going to show up there. I thought there was going to be a gi choke for a second, like a bow and arrow choke, which is probably the most easy thing to tap people with in the gi is just a bow and arrow choke. So overpowered. That's where you get behind them and you use the gi to like kind of pull it across their neck and you push their head forward with your arm or your leg. There's a lot of ways to do it. It's always different. A little bit. This guy's just shelled up. I think he's trying to bring Nick down with him. And that's what we get. So a lot of people were yelling like a lot of instruction here. And I think some of the guys, like, it took them off guard. Like, they weren't ready for it. That was a nice, that was really cool. He caught him with the front headlock, turned him like a wheel, destabilized him, and put him back down on the floor. That was a really good little exchange right there. Now he's trying to work to a Kimura or an armbar, and he was too slow to it. So the guy just rotated fast and got his elbow out. Good detection on that guy. And now he's just got this, like, same condition of having arms separated but not doing anything with it. I think a north-south choke was in order here, but just too slow to the punch. Again, too slow to the punch. I don't know if he's tired already. You know, it's hard to say. These guys are they're under a lot of stress, guys. So sometimes we'll see something that is obvious to us, but we can't perceive their perception. We can only pretend we see what they see or feel what they feel. It's easy to see it from the outside. This was a banger. It ended pretty on an energetic note. It was a fun match to watch. And Dean's a monster for fighting. I think Nick's like 28 or something. If I'm wrong, I think he's under 30 years old. The other guy was like 38 years old. So we do have like age mix-ups and stuff, which I don't really see a difference. I think age is largely kind of like a myth. You got guys, I've got guys in their like 50s who fight these fucking 20-year-olds and they go back and forth all night. Like I don't know, age might be a myth, guys. This guy right here in the blue gi is Mike. Now I see Mike a lot. Mike's one of the morning guys. He's always there twice a week at least. He just came back from an ankle injury, so he was like off the mats for a while. He didn't get injured from jiu-jitsu. I think it was something else. Actually, it was a falling body weight in one of the morning classes or something. Someone fell on his ankle, like from stand-up situation. So it was kind of just like a freak accident that hurt him. So anyway, he was out for a little while. So Mike's got like less than a year experience. Guy in the blue gi, and I watched him get so much better in just a few months. Like, I really only had him since August, and then he was gone for like 8 weeks, and then he came back. And it's really cool to see his development. I've never seen him in a gi either. This is the 4th time the blue gi guy has worn a gi. I think he got this gi like yesterday. Derek is a purple belt who I think I've seen for years and years at Trigon, but I haven't had him in enough of my classes to really know his abilities or his game, especially in the gi. I remember seeing Derek years ago, and then I didn't see him for a long time, and then he showed up again. So I don't know what his training schedule is or how much he's training, but he is a purple belt. So you're wearing a purple belt, and you must have earned it. He does tap a few people out here and there in some of these tournaments, I guess, if you watch the other one, and he could be really lethal. He's a creative grappler. I do like watching Derek go. Especially this match is cool because you have this guy who's been training for years, and then you have this guy who really just started training, and he's super solid. And he's mostly at CLA classes, so the coaching that I do. Mostly at CLA. So he gets pretty proficient at grappling pretty fast, and it's not from a size advantage. It's not because he's stronger or anything. He's solid. He's got good grappling, and even in the gi that he's not used to, he does a good job here. You know, it's back and forth with these guys. So we have arms actually isolated here. Like, he's separating his arms on bottom and going for, I guess, like a bottom triangle, but Derek's really savvy to that. I think we have guys who spam that, so he's used to it. And then we're going to end up in a little bit of neon belly, a little justice, a little neon belly the other way, and then we end up in half guard. We play a lot of games, guys, from all these positions, but I've never had Mike in the gi, so I don't I couldn't predict how he was going to do today, but I knew he would do well because his grappling base is just solid. And I think he's one of the few guys to actually hit a submission, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to remember because they're going to run this back. So they do the quintet, then they do a break, and then they fight again with different order of matchups. So it's kind of just an interesting, cool concept. I think we're going to keep doing this kind of thing now, at least once a month. At least have an in-house tournament, have as many guys fight each other as possible, just to get that experience up. We have what looked like a guillotine with a gi grip, but Derek's got to get his leg free and get up his hips up really close to Mike's head. The closer he gets his hips to Mike's head, the more he's going to be able to get his ribs on closer to Mike's neck and get a better bite on this guillotine. But Mike's intuitively just kind of keeping that guy's hips down, keeping Derek's hips down, and keeping his neck free. So he is putting some pressure there to keep his neck free, and then trapping a leg here, and he comes up, I believe. Let's see what we do. We get into like a half guard kind of situation here. Gets ugly. Derek's really far over, like hanging over. It almost looks like a Darce choke was like being teased here, but again, like we played a lot from there, so I'm not surprised that it didn't catch Mike, because he's played a lot from here already. He knows, he's familiar with this. It's not a surprise. That's my goal with like the early on guys, is like gradually make them immune to novelty. So all these things that might surprise them, I have like a motto. It's like no surprises. That's my first kind of like chapter. Just got to expose them to all the things as much as you can and have them play in as many of those common places as you can. Get them comfortable, and then no surprises, and they'll be comfortable and not get caught off guard. There was almost a choke here, but it just didn't go right. Again, it was a problem of Derek's hips. Derek couldn't get his hips in the right spot. Mike was like stopping it. And now we're in a weird spot. I don't even know what to call it. Then Mike's on top. I believe we get a guard pass. I got worried that he was going to get hit with an armbar here. It looked like it for a second, guys. It looked like it, and then he pulls his arm out. And then time. So we don't get a tap there, but Mike does tap someone out in the second battle, that second version of the quintet. So that was a good match, man. A good match. This guy with the purple belt is really good. All right. I've never seen him grapple, but he is very, very good. He's fully well-rounded. Like, I like how he moves. He actually fights 3 times today. He fights JP at the end too, which is no easy task. So this guy's 4-stripe purple belt, who just walked onto the event to represent Team Zen. And Trevor's blue belt. We were working on that. We did games from there, guys. Trevor just hit that move. Last week we did a bunch of games from that task, where you get your grips, you sit, generate momentum, and get back up and make the guy go to the ground. And it's actually funny because I thought of the game like on the spot, and it seemed to work. Trevor did it a bunch of times, and a couple of the guys were going for it, and it didn't really backfire that much. So the game was successful. Trevor's just hunkering down. He gets put in a triangle. That was a fast, slick triangle too. As I said, this guy Ben's got a pretty good, well-rounded guard, and his whole game is just solid. He's very good, focused grappler, just knows what he's going for. It's interesting because you see how it's locked over his toes. I have the same problem. Like, my legs just aren't long, and I always end up locking like screwed up like that because I don't have long legs and I can't get the angle perfectly, and you don't. So he's locked on his toes right now, and he's just bolstering that connection with his like left hand pulling down, and then Trevor gets out. Yeah. And right here gets collar dragged and pushed over. Just a quick collar drag, guys. Just make his hands go to the mat, push him over. A little smother action, sits in mount. Now he's just working grips into the collar, like a classic jiu-jitsu cross collar choke he's looking at. Like right about here is when you make the guy base. You know, you got to do something, and that was good on Trevor. He got himself more mobile. Now he's stuck in a front head, and now the guy's behind him. And that is a bad place to be. And once he gets that in, it's a clock choke. And this went on for much longer than I thought it was going to, because usually when you see a clock choke that looks that deep, I actually had to go over. I wasn't sure if Trevor was going to like pass out and not tap, or like not have time to tap. So me and Joe are just kind of like making sure that the choke's not putting him to sleep as a safety thing. I don't want him getting choked to sleep for like 10, 20 seconds, you know, just for safety. Alright, so this is quintet number 2. We run it back, we do it again, the 5v5 goes again. So we got Dan, we got Nick, purple belt versus a white belt. Just holding on to grips. I think Nick's trying to open the hand out. Not sure what any single guy is working for. I know Nick can wrestle and shoot to the legs pretty well. We also saw Dan hit a couple of hard snap downs in the last few times he's competed. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of non-linear stuff happening here. I can't tell you what's going to happen, and I watched this already. So, yeah, Dan and Nick going at it. Sub only. There's that snap that we were talking about. Like, I know that Dan does have an aggressive snap. Dan's a really big, strong dude. Like, you might not be able to tell from looking at the video, or because maybe the gi he's wearing, but he's jacked. He's like really strong, really jacked. So that was interesting right there. That was a really cool thing if you want to go play that again. He got snapped down, but he also used it as like an outside trip, and they hit the floor, and Nick ended up on top here in this side control. So this is the first match of the quintet. They're running it back. Team Zen won the first one. I'd say the matches are all action-packed. There's a lot to learn, just to watch, see what the guys are capable of, what they like to do. I wanted Nick to open that lapel up, and if you watch the live stream, I believe I'm telling him, Nick, open up the lapel, because we were playing a bunch of stuff with this, but he never actually like used it, which it's a really overpowered grip that the gi affords. You know, if people started spamming that, it would make things a lot easier. But Nick's got that, guys. He's got Dan's elbow really high up, and usually that elbow being separated is like a prerequisite condition for a whole mess of stuff. Bad things for the bottom player when the elbows get separated, right? I thought there was a back take here. Didn't happen. It was exposed, though, for sure. There was like a little moment where that back was exposed. Then you got Nick doing his... I noticed something about him. He separates hands a lot and pins. He does this like to almost everyone he rolls with. He gets on the side control, and he separates their hands. And Dan's doing a good job like keeping his hands united, but he's getting elbow separated like way high. Something that I don't know if Nick could somehow mix like harassing the throat or working on some kind of a gi attack on the neck while those hands are up there, or just moving like to another position to get a better angle while those hands are up there. I mean, there's north-south chokes coming here. There's a gi darce. There's just so many moves that I see But when you're in the heat of the moment, you might not see that stuff, guys. So I think Nick's looking at an Americana. He's sniffing it out. He's pinning the elbow with his whole. He's just getting closer and closer. And Dan almost exploded out of there pretty well. That was like really close, guys. That was really close. So we just looking. I think he's gonna get the American. Yeah, this was that match. He didn't, guys. So when you tap like you mean it. Tap like you're saving your life, because I think his first tap was a little bit light and Nick didn't feel it, so he went like a little extra. So right away, Alex is one of my favorite guys to watch grapple, guys. I just could watch him all day. He's like a walking highlight reel. The guy's super sick to watch grapple. Like in the no-gi like classes and stuff, man, it's just really awesome. I love watching him grapple. He's one of my favorite people to actually just observe and like get on camera and stuff, because he's super sick. Alex competed a few weeks ago at a LIJJN event. He did a super fight in the gi at purple belt. He's a fellow coach at Zen JJ. He gets a quick dispatch of Nick, the fellow purple belt. And then it's interesting because me, Joe, Alex, we're all like really good buddies, and we all are Zen guys just as much as, I mean, we're like, Joe's at Zen a ton. So it was kind of uncanny for me to watch these two like fight each other. But, you know, this is one of those matches where I just shut up because I have nothing. I don't even know who to coach. Like, I like both of these guys so much, and it's like kind of a weird spot when you're coaching at two schools and the teams fight each other. Like, I was mostly quiet because I just can't really take a side, guys. Like, it sucks. It's kind of like not a good feeling. It's a lose-lose, because if one of your guys wins and the other one loses, like, it just doesn't feel good. So, but they did put on a nice show for us. This was a really banger of a match. Joe and Alex like go at it. Like, it's really a good match. So Alex is like a long-time wrestler, one of the coaches at Zen, and just an overall like extremely good grappler. Like, as I said before, I'm going to glaze him a little bit. I love watching Alex grapple. Joe really just came to us a few months ago, and he's come like really, really far in just a short period of time. He's also the guy, I got him competing like 8 matches in a day. He's one of those like crazy, loves to just like go after it. And he's got big visions in his future for gold medals in a lot of events. Like, he wants to be a world champion in time. So guys, we're working on that. That's something I want to see come to reality, but I just need more time. I need more time. I haven't had Joe long enough. Joe goes to both schools just to do as many classes with a lot of variability as he can. My classes, you already know, are 100% live as much as possible. I stream them all on this channel. I have a different approach than you'll see out there. It's controversial right now, and I'm not going to say it's better or worse. It's just different, and it's how I want to do it, so that's how I'm doing it. It's clearly working because these guys are getting better and better at a fast rate, but I need more time. Half of these guys I only have once a week. Like, that's selling it short. So here we go, omoplata entry. This was awesome. Like, I thought, I like started to sweat a little bit because I was like, Alex is going to get this. But Joe did a good job, like, turning the corner on it, getting his shoulder out, getting to this single leg sitting guard, kind of not getting guillotined here. I thought Alex was going to go for that too. I started to sweat a little. And then it's looking like we're in this like front headlock with the leg trapped. It's an interesting position. Yeah, Alex was going for it. I wonder if I asked Joe how that felt, if he felt real or not. Now, I thought Joe was going to roll under here because it looks like every condition is set up for like Joe to roll under and come out on top. But he rolled like forward instead, and we get this like really cool triangle entry, but his leg is stuck, and he's in that G position now, where he's got to get his foot unstuck on bottom, like the bottom foot is stuck under there, and he can't get it out. Alex did a good job, I guess, blocking and trapping that foot and keeping it under him. That's some 4-dimensional chess right there, guys. Stuff that like it's just like highly detailed sensitivities there, reading that like information and preventing the thing from happening. That looks like I was holding the camera a little crooked, guys. So sorry. I'm holding like 2 cameras. You can kind of see me. I'm live streaming my right hand and then recording in my left, and the screen in the left hand that I'm holding is just black screen. So I'm doing my best here. I'm also like watching 2 of my guys go at it and trying to like keep a level head. Just tell them how long they have. That's really all I was doing. I just kept saying submission only, guys. Like let's get it done. So we get nice fat side control, connected hands around bottom player, pinned shoulders. Now, as long as he's just connected hands holding him down, hard to work towards any submission. Really, the stuff starts when you open your hands and you start grabbing things and you start manipulating bottom player's body. And that's usually when they escape. So as soon as he starts this attack here, it lets Joe start moving. But it's getting pretty ugly. It's getting to a point here where a few times I was like really clenching, getting worried. Like, not that I didn't want either guy. Like, I wanted someone to submit someone, but I also like care greatly about both of these guys. So I see another omoplata possibility here and a triangle possibility here. It's just like so many things passing by, and Joe's just getting his leg interference going. He's getting his legs into a leg entanglement now, and then uses it to get up. We're in like a split kind of position, and then we're back in a half guard passing, and then the timer goes off. And they had a very good back and forth match. I was actually really impressed, like super impressed about that. And then we have Dean versus Derek, where we get maybe submission of the day. In my opinion, probably submission of the day here. Let's watch this one. Sorry for the crooked horizon there on the video. So that movement right there, that sitting, dragging, and tripping, I'm seeing that so much in the gi, like super successful movement, and we were gaming from it, and even that one class we gamed from it, the guys picked it up so fast, and I noticed like now I'm just seeing it more because I guess since we're doing it, like it's on my mind, and a lot of takedowns are that like grab your grips, sit, pull them over your head, and trip them with your legs and get up on top. Like, there was a guy spamming it at one of the tournaments I was at, and I used that as indirect knowledge to just work that into our guys' affordances or attractors. Like, get them to do that thing and get used to that so they have a new tool to use to take people down instead of just, one-dimensionally wrestling into people. Now, Dean's going to pin Derek from that moment onward. I don't think we unpin. And I believe, in my eyes, this submission was the gnarliest submission of the day. It's pretty brutal, guys. This is one of those that you don't see all the time. Probably in an absolute division, you might see something like this, and these guys are much different size and a much different strength level. Top player is extremely strong, but watch this right here, man. He's got that knee right on the diaphragm, and he's doing that deadlift, and Derek's just... I thought like he might have cracked a rib or something. I should have asked him how he was doing. I didn't even see him again. I don't even remember saying bye to him, to be honest. I hope he's all right. that was a brutal submission. Knee on belly with the grip on the collar and the grip on the pants. Just bend him in half. So this guy Dean, he's not from Zen, so he's not really like Team Zen, but he fought, to join the team to fill a spot. The other guy who would have been here, Cop Mike, that would have been even more devastating if he was here, because he's just like so ridiculously good and strong. He's also like lethal, like it would have been a formidable match regardless whether Cop Mike from Zen was here in his spot or if it was Dean filling in. But I never saw Dean roll before. I never met him before, and he's a solid grappler. Just a little bit old school, just getting on top, pinning your opponent, chest to chest, knee on belly. Nothing wrong with that. It works, especially when you're the bigger guy. Just draining people. So he gets Dorico right to the floor, gets on top of him, holds him down. Not sure what that was, but it's funny to see it. Someone said something, and I think he thought that's what they meant. I don't know. But we get that knee on belly again. But this time, their size is not as big a difference. So Dorico can handle that kind of pressure and move from it. But he's still got no legs in the game. It's his two arms versus the entire top guy. You see? It's those two frames versus the entire top guy. He doesn't have any legs in front. He can't get his legs in front. And there is no guard established because there is no feet on the opponent. There's no knees on the opponent. We're just stuck, pinned. And we don't want to be pinned, guys. If we can prevent it. Now he unpins himself, starting to work up on that leg, and gets put in the wall. Anthony competed last week too, so I think he's competed 3 weekends in a row now. Because he did the Quintet 2 weeks ago. Then the next week he did a pretty cool tournament at 10th Planet out in Center Reach, where he fought like a 280-pound dude who was a solid grappler too. And then he had another good fight with a wiry kind of lanky boy. So now he's in this gi match with this other very big, strong guy, and he's getting the work on, getting a little smush. Dean's got the mount. Got mount with like a collar grip of some kind, like cross-face, just cooking the young man underneath him. Bottom player, I think, is like 18 years old, so top player is 38. There's like a 20-year difference between these guys. But top player really uses his gas tank well. Like, he just a war of attrition. Just smothers, crushes, steamrolls, and works the bottom guy into exhaustion so that he can get a late sub. I was surprised I didn't really see all the subs that I thought I would see. I haven't seen a single leg lock this whole day. I mean, our guys are pretty good at those. I don't know why they didn't happen. Just the way it is right now. Sometimes that's just how the thing plays out. I don't think I saw... I bet if someone did the statistics and you see all of the submissions that were attempted and then how many of them failed and how many of them succeeded. The bow and arrow choke's awesome. See some figure four arm attacks here and there. Rear nakeds for sure. And obviously I didn't see any head and arm triangles this time around. Saw a bunch of failed Kimuras. Not Kimuras, Americanas. Failed arm bars. Failed triangles. Some successful triangles. I'm just trying to get an impression of all of the submissions that missed and hit. We saw a paper cutter choke, which I used to hit that a lot in gi. It's one of the better. If you can pin your opponent and get your grips, that choke is immensely satisfying. And pretty easy, low risk choke. Not like some of the chokes where like you could get re-rolled. I believe Dean was going for it again there, but it just probably didn't feel right to him. This match looked brutal for Anthony. He just got like smushed, never recovered his guard, never got his feet back in front, could never get his back off the mat really for more than a meaningful amount of time at least. We got an armbar attack, and then so that armbar attack did get extended, guys, but it didn't tap him out, so the buzzer actually eliminated both of them. So Dorico did take him down with him. So all right, so Dorico did eliminate his opponent, but he also got eliminated. At least he didn't get ran through, right, and then allow that guy to tap someone else out or fatigue the next guy. So in the sub-only thing, if you're not tapping the other guy out, at least take him down with you, and that is still okay. So we got Trevor here. I haven't seen him much at my classes, but he is a Trigon guy. A lot mostly from the other classes. I've maybe seen him 5-6 times, perhaps, in the last few years. Sorry for the crooked camera. Mike, though, I do see all the time, and mostly I've never seen him in a gi. This is, again, the 4th time he's been in a gi. The guy in the blue here, the guy in the blue gi, this is the 4th time he wore a gi. And I saw that happen with Trevor. Again, he used that thing we did last week on Sunday. We did like a gi CLA, like just I did a bunch of games in the gi designed to like have them play with these, I guess, overpowered things you can do with the gi. You just search, there. And I had them find that style of takedown where you use the gi to pull, overcommit the guy forward, trip him and get back up with the intention of like kind of dragging people to the mat and then tripping them over you. And Trevor used it like really, really good today. I don't know if he's down on himself for whatever reasons, but he did get some sick takedowns today, and what we're working on is working. I just haven't had him that long to really work with him on, I don't know what his game is. His performance is good though. Mike's performance is amazing as well. In no gi, that's what he's used to. I mean, he's a very impressive guy to watch. Hasn't been training very long, guys, but puts in the work. And bottom player, Mike, doing a good job just trying to free his head, trying to get on his side. That grip, though, right there, guys, that head grip, that crossface needs to be addressed. It's just crushing him. And we end up getting closed guard. Watching this, I actually thought in my head, like, there's a game I would design going from closed guard to a form of collar and sleeve or sleeve guard, like gi dependent, like that kind of attractor well, working into a sleeve guard like a lasso or, spider or whatever, any of that stuff. It is a good place to set those grips up and then transition to, especially from this. You got those extended arms, you got the 2 grips on, and then look, if Mike opens his legs and starts playing into that, it's there. But I know Mike doesn't train gi, so he wouldn't know that is there to play with. So I see it, but I know he doesn't. So I'm not saying anything to him. I'm not going to bother him about it. I'm not going to... Mike does something else. He's like, all right, let's get a scoop grip. And he's thinking about what he's going to do with that scoop grip. I believe he's trying to get an angle. We call him Rugby Mike because he used to play rugby. So Trevor's doing a good job splitting the legs here. He's trying to knee cut through that. but it goes right back to a half guard. He does wrap up the head, and now Mike's got a solid underhook here. And Mike's going to use that to mobilize his hips. And once he gets his hips up, it ends up turning Trevor down. And now we got Mike on top, and it's time for a little top player revenge. Now Trevor's holding Mike's head and pulling him down, and now he's holding onto the underhook. And then he gets quick work with that half guard pass. Super strong shoulder of justice there. Mike's covering the hips so that he doesn't get put back in guard. He's keeping Trevor flat. Trev's trying to find a way to get back to a guard or get Mike off of him. There's a weight disparity between these two for sure. You can't really tell from here, but Mike's super lean, like really lean, jacked dude. And Trevor's like a broad-shouldered, like large man. So they might have 20 or 30 pound difference, if I'm not mistaken. That was awesome, guys. Mike spun to the back, got to the friggin' rear naked choke, and I gave him a little cue, do a row, and he does it. And as soon as I gave him the cue, he finishes. Like, I don't know if it had anything to do with directing his attention to like pull your elbow back, like do a row. I tried to use like a metaphor. He's definitely done a row before because he's a muscle-bound strong boy. So that's the cue I used there when I was like, I say very few things when I'm actually standing there coaching, but in a discrete situation like that where like the guy's just about to finish, you can be like, you can give him some kind of analogy or metaphor just in case he's just squeezing the hell out of the guy and not actually like, I don't know, applying that row, that elbow retraction that you want. And once he did do the elbow retraction, it did finish it. So maybe I'm just drawing correlation and it had nothing to do with that. So that's the whole point. So JP didn't know, a guy in the black there, didn't know that he was going to fight, but he came ready to fight. And we just last minute called it out. And we're like, all right, anybody want a match with JP? Let's do a super fight real quick. They do sub only with a first to score OT. So they go OT, first to score if they don't sub each other. And Ben, who already competed, I don't know if he submitted 2 guys, but he fought twice. And Ben said, all right, I'll do it. So, you know, he's got the steel cojones of the day to go fight JP, who might almost have like 80 pounds on him. Like, they're seriously different size. I think JP's like 260, and Ben is got to be less than 200 pounds. So he might be 180 or less. So this is a sick match, guys. This was an awesome match. I hope I got it. I don't remember. That's me just kind of loafing around. So yeah, I left the camera there, guys. So it might be a better match on the live stream. Single leg immediately closing the distance. Ben isolated his arm, but it's just he can't make the space to operate because JP's just like crashing down on him so hard. And who knows the fatigue level that Ben's experiencing. I know I'm in the way, guys. That's me right there with the hat. Sorry about that. If you guys watch the live stream, I'm right up on them with the live stream, so if you do need to see this match in better quality, go to the live stream. We spend a lot of time in this match behind elbows. Just a lot of time behind Ben's elbows. And I know it's sub only, but I don't mind that. Like, if you get into a fight with someone and you're grappling them and you can spend a lot of time behind their elbows, you will be able to hit them and they will not be able to hit you. So it is good grappling in my eyes, guys. I don't care that he doesn't get hooks in. I don't care anything like that. It's just demonstrating good grappling. Now, Ben is almost a brown belt, and JP has been training with me once a week for 1.5 years, maximum. And I'd probably take a few off for the times that he didn't show up, which did happen. So, literally once a week guy, no gi. And he is very good. at a well-rounded game. So right here, we play this game like so much. And yeah, we play these games. Everything we're doing here like is games that we played a lot. So let's just mute that really quick. All right. Yeah, we have back control here. I was looking at that. Didn't look like he had it under the chin, but he does a good job just like staying behind. Now Ben pops out, and I got a little bit like, okay. Now I don't know Ben's abilities, but I know he's like one of those guys that's just really good all of a sudden out of nowhere. He's got a lot of skill, like a lot of experience. So we just get to watch some stand-up. I think there's like 3 or 4 single legs that just kind of like the same thing every time almost. Like we had a couple of takedowns here. No one's scoring it, guys. We don't care about it, but it's cool to see, you know, jiu-jitsu guys actually be doing takedowns and like training it and not neglecting that skill set. Yeah, we got that big old boom, big old single leg with the sweep. We get the top position here. Behind is on top. We play games here that are submit on the neck, you know, like get your hand as deep around their neck as you can. Sometimes I constrain them connecting their hands so that they work on like just different skills of strangling while they're staying in these good connected positions. But we do the go behind a lot. Now Ben's compact. He is compact. He doesn't have a lot of space. He doesn't offer space for those hooks. He doesn't get tilted over easily. He's very reactive and proactive and aware. Like he's not somebody you could just easily get. He's one of those guys. He's a solid grappler. So respect, big respect to both athletes. Ben also fought twice already, so he's got to deal with a 260-pound athletic, fast guy after he already fought twice. So really, steel cojones again to Ben. He has the steel cojones, you guys. JP does a good job just like when he's abandoning attacks, staying connected and like trying to maintain those conditions that he has, like staying behind. He does a lot of staying behind, does a lot of taking people down. So in a few days, we're going to be at Naga by the time you see this video. I mean, I don't know what year it's going to be by the time you actually watch this video, but my next video should be live streaming at Naga, which JP will be at competing, and so will a few of my other guys from both schools. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe they'll fight each other there too. We got a single leg, snatch that leg up, and I think we're going down again. Looked like a K-guard entry. Got his leg out of there. Smashed down. We are in closed guard. Ben's working on cutting an angle, doing something. It seems JP's actually pretty tired. I don't really see him breathe from his mouth like that in class. And we do like an hour and a half of like live work. No lollygagging. No talking. Opens the guard to attack because that's what a good guard player does, and just sit there with his legs closed. And JP just does the old whatever the hell that was called. Threw the guy's legs out of the way and just gets back behind him again to wear on him, make him bear weight. I think his head got too far away from Ben's head, and that's why he had room to like rotate there, his shoulder inside. But good match. That goes into overtime now. So that was the regulation, and now we're going into overtime, which is just first to score. So that's anyone. First to score, unlimited time basically. And I couldn't tell you what was going to happen, but Ben was like proactive here. He got a nice shot, got behind JP, and then JP said, "Nah, son, get off my back," which I clenched a little here. It looked ugly, and then he said, "No, And now it's a guard pass wins the game. Like, if you can pass that guard, we're winning. So now he's got the task of trying to pass a brown belt's half guard, which we play so much that I knew he was going to be able to do it, and he did it very fast. I think Ben's tired, guys. He had to fight like a lot today. So that's it. 3 seconds, held him down, got the pass, got the win. I want to see a rematch between these guys for sure, again in the future. And Ben is fresh, right? That will be cool to see. Anyway, that's all the matches for the day. It was a really intense learning experience for everyone, and we just keep doing this over and over again to expose these people to this environment, this kind of setting, this style of match, this style of rolling, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. All right, checking out. Peace.